So today we're going to be mixing up a product called Smooth Cast 300. And Smooth Cast 300 is a polyurethane casting resin. It's a lovely, easy system to work with. It has a simple 1:1 by volume mix ratio, or you can mix it 100 parts A to 90 parts B by weight. So a nice, easy product to work with. And we've got a couple of little molds that we're going to cast into. So we've got two little silicone molds that we're going to cast into. We don't need to use a release agent into the molds. The smooth cast won't bond onto the silicone. It's going to release quite nicely. But if you would like to look after your silicone molds and get them to maybe do a bit more production, you can use a release agent into the molds to help prolong the life of that mold. So we're just going to mix up a small quantity of Smooth Cast 300, A and B. So this product has got a very fast pot life. It's got a 3-minute pot life, so it's really quick. So we have to make sure we have this mixed and poured into the mold within about 2.5 minutes at most. We do have systems that have got a slower pot life if you are casting larger items or need a bit more time. But this particular system is really neat because it can also be demolded in about 10 minutes. So a very nice, fast demold time. So we're just going to put a little hole in the seal here to decant, to dispense from. So we're going to measure out 100 grams of part A. You can see it's also got a very nice low viscosity. So we've got a scale on. Scale is on a 0 figure. We'll measure out 100 grams. It's almost like pouring water. So that's 100 grams of part A. Please be sure to put the lids back on again. You don't want to leave these standing open. Any moisture that gets into here will contaminate the product. We have our part B. Our scale is back to a 0 figure. So we're going to measure out 90 grams of part B. .7 is close enough. And just another thing on this product, before you start measuring out, I've done it already, but you do need to give the part A and part B a bit of a shake before you use them. But I think the trick here is to give it a shake, make sure the ingredients incorporate in both separate parts, and then leave it for a couple of hours or so before you use it. Because as you shake it, you are going to incorporate some bubbles into the resin. So better once you've shaken it just to let it stand for a little bit. It does take a while to settle out. Another option is to get some mixing sticks in and give them a bit of a stir as well to get anything that's settled out pre-mixed back in before measuring it out. Okay, so we've got part A and part B, so we have to make sure that we've got our molds ready before we start mixing. As mentioned, this has only got a 3-minute pot life, so we have to not mix too long here, otherwise we have the resin setting before we've had a chance to pour it. Doesn't matter which one we pour into which, we can pour A into B or B into A, it really doesn't matter. So what we'll do here is pour A across into the B. So this resin also has what they call an exothermic reaction. So as A and B start to cross-link, and as it starts to get the reaction going, it warms up. So you'll actually feel, as you're mixing this, about 20 to 30 seconds in, you'll actually feel the container warming up a little bit. So very importantly to scrape the sides and the bottom of the mixing containers. Also very important to just use the appropriate size mixing stick. If you are mixing up slightly larger quantities, to use a larger mixing stick. So at this stage I can start to feel a bit of heat being generated. That exothermic reaction, I'm going to give it one more scrape and one more little mix, and then we'll have to cast. So I'll cast a little butterfly first. And then we'll cast this is a little pot mold. So also sometimes tapping the mold a little bit while you're casting can just help settle the resin into the mold and to release the little bubbles. That's the casting done. And so this resin, as you're casting, you could see it had a clear amber color to it. As it cures, it actually changes to a solid white color. So you can put pigments and things into it, but the typical natural color once it's cured would be a nice solid white. The other nice thing about this particular plastic is it's relatively tough, so it's not a very brittle resin, so it has got some toughness to it, and as you see, very nice low viscosity, so it can get into all the detail in your silicone molds. And now we'll just leave it to cure for about 10 minutes. So as you can see, the crystal clear has started to cure, and you can see it changing color from the clear amber to white. The silicone mold is a little bit cold, so we haven't warmed up that silicone mold. You can warm it up slightly as well if you like. So as you can see, the silicone, where the resin is sitting against the silicone, is taking a little bit longer to cure, and that's because of the silicone mold being quite cold. So if you want, you can warm the silicone mold up to around 25 to 30 degrees just to get it off. At the moment in winter, the mold is quite cold. So it's fighting against the cure around the edges a little bit, but eventually it will cure through. All right, so the Smooth Cast 300, as you can see, has turned white and it's cured nicely. So as mentioned, this takes about 10 minutes to cure, so we can demold this. The silicone that I've used here is quite a soft 10A shore silicone, so it's quite nice and stretchy. So we can actually turn that mold inside out and demold our little pot. And this is a product called Food Sul 40. It's actually a food-safe silicone, and that we can also just pop out of the mold as well. So as I mentioned, the Smooth Cast 300 is it's quite a tough plastic, so we'll give that the bounce test. There we go. You can see it's quite a nice strong plastic.